Is this just a nachos redo over here at Taco Bell? Let's peep this out. YouTube and social media, peep this out, guys. It's Ian K back again with another one for you here at Taco Bell today, gang, to take a look at the other half of their Steakhouse promo, which I do have to say looks pretty fantastic on the posters in their windows. That's right, the Steakhouse Nachos has debuted alongside the all-new Steakhouse Burrito over here at Taco Bell, and after the debacle that review was, and believe me, it was a debacle, hit the card in the upper right-hand corner of our display if you're curious to see what went down when I filmed that one. I wanted to swing on back to give the nachos a shot to see if quote-unquote lightning was gonna strike twice. And hey, I also wanted to see how different these nachos are compared to all the other versions that they've had in the past. Given that whenever Taco Bell comes out with some brand new promotional item, they usually take the ingredients of that promotional item and just throw them on some chips and call it the new version of their nachos. From the XXL nachos that I reviewed way back in the day that you guys can find in that Taco Bell playlist to the Boss nachos, which I actually passed on because it looked pretty much the same thing. We've now come to the Steakhouse nachos. So how different is this version going to be compared to all those other ones, and how about the flavor? Is it going to be any better? Well guys, before I take that first bite to give you my thoughts like I always do, let's get right up on it first. Let's peep this out.
Introducing Steakhouse Nachos from Taco Bell.
Taco Bell bringing a new variation of nachos love with the all-new Steakhouse Nachos. And as you guys can see, a very healthy platter of chips for sure. Let's get right up on this and see exactly what we're working with up close. Aside from that healthy portion of chips, we've got a fairly decent amount of marinated steak. It looks like some sour cream, refried beans, a dollop of guacamole, and of course some pico for that added color pop. But the star of the show, without a doubt, aside from the steak, is going to be this brand new Zesty Queso Sauce, which looks to have a little bit of green chili mixed in for that added kick. So a pretty standard laundry list of ingredients for the Steakhouse Nachos over here at Taco Bell, guys. Let's go in and peep out this flavor. Well, this is a pretty sizable tray of nachos for sure, guys, but it really does look exactly like all the other versions of their steak nachos that I've ever seen, including the XXL nachos that I reviewed way back when. The main difference with the Steakhouse, though, if you've seen the burrito review already, is that actually has crispy potatoes in it there. So thankfully, those are not on these nachos. Because personally, for me, I think that would have been carb overload, aside from the salt that it probably would have added. So let's just get right on into this and see. Let me pull up one of these here with some of the cheese. A little bit of that guac action, get a little bit of the beans in there, some sour cream. Here we go, Steakhouse Nachos over here at Taco Bell. Let's see how different. It is exactly like every other steak nachos that I've ever tried from Taco Bell. The steak is actually pretty nicely marinated though. One thing about this though, aside from the marinated steak, which I really do like over here at Taco Bell, is their all-new Zesty Queso dip. It's a really nice blend of spices and most noticeably green chili, so it does supply a little bit of heat, and it really does give a nice sizzle to the overall package. It's got that smooth, cheesy richness with a little bit of the sizzle, and it goes very well with the refried beans especially. That's really a highlight of this also, the refried beans and that Zesty Queso. And the sour cream and the guacamole is also pretty tasty, aside from giving some nice color to the overall tray. I do wish the chips were a little bit toastier though, maybe a little bit closer to restaurant style chips with that brown coating, but all the other good stuff on the inside is not a bad thing, guys, and the chips do get the job done. If you already like Taco Bell's nachos along with their steak, I think you know what to expect from this. Just get ready for a little bit of kick with their all new Zesty Queso Sauce. It's pretty tasty. Alright, these Steakhouse nachos are pretty decent. They're pretty much what you'd expect to get from Taco Bell compared to all the other versions of the nachos they've had in the past. It's a very similar laundry list of ingredients as always. The only difference with this one, aside from that marinated steak, which is always pretty tasty, at least in my opinion, is that Zesty Queso Sauce. That's the big thing that they're pushing along with this one there, and I gotta say, the spices in that really do add to the overall flavor of everything else that's on that platter of nachos. And if I can just talk on that platter for a quick second, although it does look pretty fantastic in advertising, the chip to topping ratio when you actually get the product is very skewed towards more chips than anything else. There just wasn't a lot of quantity of the toppings themselves to really justify having that many chips, and although it looks great for advertising like I said, at the end of the day you don't want to feel like you spent over $6 just for chips. But what you do get aside from that questionable quantity is pretty tasty, especially that Zesty Queso dip. That stuff is the absolute truth, and I really hope it sticks around a bit. So on that bomb sexy for your face scale of 1 to 10, the Steakhouse Nachos over here at Taco Bell are gonna get just an okay 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, this is like any other version of the steak nachos you've ever had here at Taco Bell. The only difference, however, is that new Zesty Queso Sauce. It really does kick it up nicely, and it does make it just a little bit different. But of course, that's just my opinion as always. If any of you have already had these Steakhouse Nachos over here at Taco Bell, what did you guys think of them? Were they just like any other version of nachos you've ever had over here? And more importantly, what did you guys think about that price? Was it worth it? Drop a comment down below, definitely let me know. And that's it for now, gang. This is Ian K closing out another episode of Peep This Out here at Taco Bell today, taking a look at the all-new Steakhouse Nachos, and this was definitely a better experience than the last time around, that's for sure. Guys, if you haven't already, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the little bell down below next to my channel name so you can be notified when new reviews drop, along with checking me out over at peepthisoutreviews.com, and keep in touch with me at all the addresses that you see right above me, because after all, this is Peep This Out, baby. You know how we do. We'll definitely talk to you next time. Stay frosty. You know, I really like the whole presentation style look of this, but I think if they took some of the ingredients and maybe layered them on the bottom, the middle, and the top together, it may be a little bit heartier and maybe cover more of the chips. But hey, that's just me. Guys, until the next review, I'll talk to you soon.